am Crystal Joy.
And I'm David Raziel.
And this is I'm Psychic.
I guess.
We are trying to be psychics. We are not psychics.
No.
How are we doing that, David?
How are we doing that, Crystal?
I don't know.
You tell me.
We don't know what we're doing, but we're trying our best is what we're doing.
Let's come up with some weird thing to say, but I have no idea how we're actually doing that.
Basically, we're trying to follow the tips and tricks because apparently anyone can be psychic and we want to try. How we're doing that is I'm reading some books and I'm watching some TikToks and we're just doing the shit that apparently you're supposed to do to become a psychic.
So they actually flounder around and hope for the best. That's the actual truth.
It's so mystical and magical. Thank you for that. This is what you signed up for by watching this podcast or listening to this podcast. Mystical and magical facts. We obviously don't really know what we're doing, and we try our best to stay on top of being grounded physically in reality, being well-read, being grounded in data and not hopes and dreams, while also enjoying some hopes and dreams. With that, we might not get things right all the time, and we want to grow, we want to learn, and if we do get something a little bit fucked up, let us know. We want to engage. We want to have a conversation. We want to figure it out together.
Yep.
So let us know in kind, and we're here to fix it.
Last time we talked about some of the spooky experiences that we've had and what we would change now where we are in our journey, because we're not necessarily starting from day zero.
Same.
So today we're going to be talking about some of the psychic experiences we've had.
Stories.
And I don't know about what we would change, but maybe what we'd change now.
A little bit of what we change now, but mostly I think it'd be fun to talk about what we think that was.
Sure.
Theories, ideas, things we've learned from those things.
And as always, we'll end with a psychic
intuition test to see where we're at. Quick check-in. How was your week psychically, David?
I think I had a deja vu.
Oh, really?
No, I'm lying. I didn't have anything. Nothing happened.
Okay. I meditated and nothing also happened.
Yeah.
I launched this podcast is what happened. All psychic, everything gone with the stress of...
That's right. That's why I think.
Launching a podcast.
Because I was stressed.
That's just a quick check-in of where we're at, what's going on since last time. So, to get things going, first thing we're talking about, psychic stuff that has happened to us. That made us think that this was worth our time and isn't going to be a 5-episode podcast.
Correct. So everybody has deja vus.
Yeah, I think everybody can say we experienced deja vu at some point or another.
At some point.
Yeah.
Well, I was able to remember my deja vu before it happened and also change it.
Your deja vu is not like my deja vu.
Why?
I think other people will probably agree with me. Most people's experience of deja vu is like you're in the middle of doing something and then you like almost have like a That's So Raven flash of like doing that exact thing and you're like,
that's a good way of putting it.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You know? And then you keep it moving. It's very short. It's just like, I did this before. No, I didn't. That's weird. And then it's over. And it's in the middle and it's as it's happening and it's very brief. You though.
Yeah.
You don't have that happen. When you first explained deja vu to me, like, oh, this is a deja vu, I was like, oh, that's cool. You're like, yeah, and this happens, and then this happens, and then that happens, and you say this. Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
You just laid out, like, the next 5 minutes of time. Like, that's not normal, bro.
Okay, so I didn't know that was not normal, but
No.
2, I've been able to do that since I was a kid. I think it's similar in a sense where you have like it's like this is a dream or I've had this happen. I'm in this place where this has happened already. We've done this already.
You have a similar experience.
That's similar, but the difference is it's like, oh yeah, and then this happens. I've seen this happen, and then this happens. So it's like an episode I've seen already. But
then that happens.
But then it happens exactly as I remembered it. There was a time where I was in the lunchroom at school, and we're in the line, and I'm starting to get a deja vu. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. And my friend goes, huh? I was like, yo, this is going to happen. And I was like, oh wait, and a hat's going to get thrown at me. So I turn around and I catch it.
So in your deja vu.
In the deja vu, it hit me.
In a deja vu, you have a deja vu, That's So Raven. In the future, I can see. And then a hat bops you in the back of the head.
Yeah, it hits me in the back.
And then you're like, hey, friend, hat's going to hit me in the back of the head. And then you turn around and you catch it right before it hits you in the back of the head.
Right before it hits me in the back of the head. And the person was like, how did you know I threw that at you? And I was like, oh, that was like a deja vu I had. But
That's not how deja vu works, bro. I'm so sorry to tell you. And this is the same guy in episode 1 who was like, yeah, I'm not a psychic. I don't have any psychic. I'm not a psychic. And I'm just sitting here like normal deja vu having ass with only religious trauma under her belt.
I don't know about all
That's
that,
fascinating and cool.
that has happened to me, and it's happened to me more than once.
It does. It happens to you a lot. Also, I want to point out is that you have a tendency to have a dream
Right.
and then say, that's going to be a deja vu later.
Ah.
And then when it happens like 6 to 9 months later,
Yeah.
even up to 2 years later, you'll remember the dream that you told me that happened.
Right.
And then it happens.
The thing is, because it's like once
Which is also
once it
not how
started
deja vu
happening-
works.
Once it started happening enough times, I was able to say, oh, that feels a little different. Like that has a possibility to be something. It just feels different from dreams. I don't know how else to put it.
That makes sense. The way you explained to me about you have a dream and then you think that might be a deja vu, which is not how deja vu works for most people. Again, and then
There's no else to put it.
And then you remember it later, and then that thing happens. I think on the TikToks.
On the TikToks.
I've heard Chemo the Light Seer on TikTok. He's great. You should watch him. I've learned so much from just watching his TikToks. He talks about something called a one romancer, which is somebody who does psychic shit in dreams. And I think that's you. I can't say for sure, but not only do you have these types of dreams where you're like, oh, that could be a deja vu later, you've also told me about dreams that are completely normal, in which you are another person experiencing life completely normally, no weird dream shit.
True.
And you're like in the avatar of another person.
I've forgotten about those, yeah.
You have them relatively frequently.
I
and
do.
From listening to Chemo talk about one romancy, his sister's one, and that she'll like have like you're in the avatar of somebody else. I think he said that she predicted a shooting that was going to happen or something by her experiencing the shooting
Oh, interesting.
in a dream like 3 days before it happened.
For me,
So I know you haven't predicted anything
Right.
with it, but it sounds very similar.
I could see that. The thing is with those that I've had, they feel like they've been in different time periods.
I mean, that's even cooler. That's even cooler. We're going to move on to me soon, but the other reason I say you might have that is because you have accidentally astral projected while dreaming.
Yes.
Which
the first
is
time I did
another
it,
thing.
The first time I did it on purpose.
Okay, but that's another thing that one romancers tend to, I don't know. I don't know.
That's news to me. I didn't know that.
I'm guessing here, but if it is a thing, it would be that.
If anyone else is a
One romancer.
One romancer,
Yeah.
will you let me know how that sounds similar?
Hit me up.
Hit me up on the one romancer hotline. I don't know what.
One romancer bring.
Yeah, right. No.
That could only mean one thing.
Hit me on the one romancer bling.
Yeah.
God. I was like, what are you singing?
I don't know the words. I just know this.
That's not what
I'm
he
doing
does.
the dance.
That's not what he does.
You're missing all of the
he
dance
does
moves if you're not
he
on
does
the
something
video
like that.
podcast.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Drake can't dance. But that's the reason we've made this. Drake can't dance.
Thank you. End of the podcast. We can end the podcast here. Fuck you, Drake.
Oh my God. You coming for him? Why?
Maybe he should stop grooming kids.
Degrassi goes there.
That was such a good turnaround, David. This is not about talking shit about celebrities. This is a different kind of podcast.
No, but anyway.
Anyway.
Your psychic
Hold on.
stuff.
As far as I'm concerned, I did not really have a lot of interesting psychic experiences growing up like that.
Yeah.
Everything that I've experienced has been since my spiritual awakening. And I want to really go off of like evidential stuff. What you said, like I caught a hat. That's very evidential. There was no way for you to know that.
Fair.
When I was starting my spiritual awakening journey, I started poking at stuff with a stick because I was not allowed to, because I grew up in church. And when I say that, I mean I started just, if it was quote unquote evil, I started reading about it because I was not allowed to and I wanted to know
What the
the
deal was.
truth.
Yeah.
I wanted to know the truth. And in the midst of doing that, I got into magic-y stuff and occultish stuff.
Right.
And I was like, I'm gonna light a candle and do a tiny little baby witch ritual.
Witcherol.
Ritual.
I like it.
Shit. A witcherol. I did not consider myself a witch at the time, but I was just like, I can see that. Thanks TikTok. I can see that. You know, I got myself a little PDF with a little PDF with the archangel like sigils from Agrippa and that kind of shit. Anyway, if you know about magical stuff, you know what that means. So there was this thing that I did because I was really ashamed of my past self and I wanted to do some shadow work, integrate my past self with my current self. And this is all relevant to my moment. And I was working with, if you know anything about such things, I was working with the Kabbalah Tree of Life, specifically the Sephiro Chesed, which is basically just like working with the energy of mercy.
Sure.
Right? That's what it means. Working with the energy of mercy, having mercy on my past self, trying to like fully integrate and accept who I am and who I was.
So like shadow work.
Yeah, shadow work with a candle.
Shadow work with a candle.
And really immaculate vibes. At the end of the ritual, I'm lighting the candle, I'm looking into it, I'm trying to scry, which we'll talk about in another episode, to see what I can get. And in my ear, like, so clairaudience, a thought that's not mine almost, not really in my physical ear, I heard the word, Rahim, you are Rahim. It's like, that is not a word that I know.
Right.
And it's weird, so I'm going to look it up. I Googled it afterwards, and that is the Arabic word for mercy.
Well, how about that?
Which is wild, because
No, that's crazy.
I know zero Arabic. To this day, outside of Rahim, I know nothing. I don't know how to say hi. I don't know anything about that language, and I'd never been exposed to it. So I was like, oh,
Right.
what? What the heck?
We have one more.
I have a few. I mentioned in the other episode, I do divination and stuff, so I'm like a divination bitch, and that has been kind of a gateway for things. My lovely friend let me do a divination pull for her, and I was like, hey, I want to work on my psychic abilities. Can I like just see what I pick up? And outside of tarot, can you tell me if I got it right or not? She's like, yeah, of course. So I was like, if it's wrong, please, but I'm going to see. She's like, can you connect me with my grandpa through the cards? I was like, sure. I'm doing the cards and whatever, but in my mind's eye, I get her surrounded by two people. It's like a visual in my mind. I assumed they were both her grandparents because they looked older, but they didn't look old.
Right.
So they looked still younger-ish. One specifically, I assumed was her grandpa. Looked a very specific way. He had like brown fluffy hair on the sides. I didn't want to say he was bald up there, but there really wasn't a lot going on up there. Like he was balding, but not bald yet.
Right. Keeps. I'm joking.
We're not sponsored. Give me money, you motherfuckers. No. And I described what I was seeing to her. And I said, did your grandpa look like this? Did he have brown hair? She's like, yes, he did have brown hair. I was like, well, it's not curly. I don't want to say curly, but it's fluffy. It's very fluffy. And she laughed. She's like, yes, he had very fluffy hair. I was like, sides, on the sides specifically. And she was like, yes, that is exactly. I was like, there's not really a lot up here. She's like, yeah, he went completely bald up there. And I was like, yeah, he doesn't look old. He
So you
looks
like
young.
the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and he was really self-conscious about it. And then she was like, but that's not how he looked when he passed. And I was like,
Okay.
well, that's how he looked when he was younger, which is interesting. So I accurately described somebody's grandpa.
That's pretty sick. That's actual
like a
psychic
thing.
stuff. I don't know about my stuff. I don't know if that's actually psychic.
There's also this one time,
Wandermancer.
the last one. That's cool if you are one.
That's not psychic.
Fuck. It is psychic. Remember the types of psychic that we talked about the
Oh,
other
that's right. There's different
I said there's
types.
so many types.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Wandermancer.
I was at my friend's birthday party.
Yeah.
And his mom was there. And she apparently was like, oh my God, your friend's a psychic. Because I'd done tarot before. And I was like, I can do a fun little party trick. So I'm fucking drunk. And
That's when the best psychic stuff
it
happens.
does. Which is something to talk about. Anyway, I do a health. Hold on. I have something in my fucking eye over there.
Wandermancy. Oh. That's not how it works.
No. That's hypnosis, David.
Oh.
But
There's
it
so
works.
many rules. So,
I was doing a health reading on my phone because I didn't have my cards with me.
Right.
Before I even started doing the reading for her health,
yeah.
I was just like, okay, so what do you want to know about? And in my mind, my brain created a thought. Now, I think all the time. I have ADD. I always have weird shit going on in my head. The thought phrase, do you have an older man like a father who's passed away, went through my head. And I thought my brain was just like, silly Crystal, you're drunk and you're playing pretend medium. You just are like really into the whole vibe of it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't do that. But I kept it to myself. And after the health reading, she really liked it. And she's like, can you connect me to my passed on father? And I was like, oh, did I pick him up?
That happens a lot, right? Where you're like, you have the thought and then.
Yes!
You know what
It happens to me all the time!
that song that says on TikTok right now? That's
What's that?
like, I go into the coffee shop and it's about a girl in pants or something. But
I don't know. What side of TikTok are you on?
I'm telling you, that's
audio.
it. She's like, and then something in my head says, stop. You're gonna make it weird. You've never seen that?
No, it was great.
It is great. It's great.
That's valid. I don't know this song. We're on different TikToks, you and me.
Okay. I'm on the cool side.
You know, your TikTok's fucking cursed 90% of the time. Don't at me.
It is. It's cursed.
Okay, there are a bunch of other little small moments like that, but I've had my fair share of evidential, like, what the fuck was that moments.
Right.
And things do happen in my head a lot where I'm like, don't make it weird. I won't go into the details because we're low on time, where I, doing tarot for somebody else and we have a discussion and then somebody comes up and I'm like, they want to say words to you. And then I say the words and people are like, yes, I had a dream where those exact words were said by this person. And I'm like, yeah.
So, but I don't think
I'm always drunk when it happens.
But I don't think I've ever had those kind of things.
We're different kinds of psychic. You see shit in traveling dreams. I get drunk and get random like shit that I probably shouldn't say out loud. That's completely two different types.
I also get drunk and say things I shouldn't say out loud.
You do, but in a completely different
But it's not psychic.
No.
It's not psychic at all.
Oh gosh. Okay. What do we think these things are?
For my dream thing, honestly, I cannot. I just thought it was regular deja vu. Thought it happened.
I have theories. Why the spooky stuff happened in the other episode?
Yeah.
And why did these weird fucking things happen to us?
This is a big conversation, I think, but
We can start, and if we get too far into it, we can.
Yeah. No, it's the topic of it is too huge, but
go on tomorrow
because it
or
goes
next time.
into like I think the way deja vus and or at least my deja vus work.
Yeah.
Goes into the concept of time.
Yes.
And why time is all happening at the same time.
We have a whole episode from our old prequel. If you're on the Spotify prequel, like the last prequel episode is all about that shit.
Exactly. So
you listen to that.
So all time is all time, right? Or whatever. And what I think I'm doing is I'm going into that time, which is not linear, but it's just happening at the same time. Seeing a clip of it. And then seeing it within my own 3D plane, living it out, and then I'm just remembering it.
Okay. Yes. Spark notes for people who have no idea and don't want to go listen to that podcast. Basically, all time's happening all the time. When you dream, you're no longer in 3D space.
Right.
The theory is that you were in at a time outside of time.
Is that 4D?
4D, sure. Basically, you go outside of the limits of 3D space. So a 4D space is no longer bound in linear time.
Sure.
So everything is all the time. Everything everywhere all at once. Vibes.
Yeah.
I have opinions on
Nope.
that. Okay, no, we won't. But not exactly that.
But
basically
vibes.
that. The vibes. And when you're dreaming, you can get out of your own subconscious brain juice and go out into the ether.
And go out.
And experience one of the various timelines.
Right, and that's exactly what I think my deja vu is, at least.
Yes.
I think everyone's to an extent. But for some reason, I seem to remember it a little bit more.
Yes, you are one romancer, maybe. So
Unromancy.
So I think that's why. I think that's what deja vu is the experiencing of another timeline during a dream, and then we recall it later.
What about yours now?
So I don't visually see things in real space. I see them in my mind's eye, and I hear things in my mind's ear. Mind's ear. But I think it goes into why psychic ability is what it is and how it works.
Just knowing things you're not supposed to, like, there's no way you could have known that.
Yeah, and I have ideas, right? So this is a super spark notes from my limited knowledge right now. This is what I think it is. Your heart emits an electromagnetic field.
Yes.
At all times of up to 3 feet up to 10, sometimes if you're crazy, 50 feet.
The energy donut.
The energy donut. You are in what is called a torus field. Your body is in the center of a donut, and that is the electromagnetic field that's emanating from your heart.
Fun fact, the Earth also has one.
I think that receiving of psychic information is your field is receiving information, and your heart actually has a brain. So I'm not a science bitch, guys. If you are a science bitch, please comment or reply or stitch or whatever. Your heart has its own brain, as does your tummy and your
I've heard this before.
Right. And so if your heart is emitting electromagnetic energy and it's getting caught up in this field, it would make sense that it could then read and measure and then tell your regular brain, hey, this is in my field, right? So to experience evidential psychic phenomenon is to be picking up information through a subatomic particular exchange of some sort in your field.
And so that's what you're training.
Yeah, I'm training to control it and understand it. And
hot damn it, we did it.
Hot damn it.
We fucking did it.
That's a whole, I really condensed that shit. That's a whole episode. Maybe that'll be the next episode because it's a whole pamphlet. It's 5 pamphlets of information
That's
at least.
more than 4.
And so let's do an intuition test. Let's test our energy donuts, kids.
Let's go. So we're going to use my cards.
Okay.
Of course, they are
So no colors, just
No
content,
colors.
really.
Yep.
Content and numbers.
Just content and numbers. Of course, they are black and gold.
Because that's David's aesthetic.
That's what I like.
He's aesthetic ass bitch.
It's what I like.
Is it my turn first?
Of course, it's your turn first.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Clean my energy.
Ready?
No, my eyes have been closed.
Okay.
Bricks. A wall. Fiery. A person is on it for sure. Strength? It wasn't strength.
No.
But it was a major arcana.
It was. And it was a person.
There is a person.
He's a small person.
And there is a little wall.
There
is rocks. I said bricks. But hey.
The rock.
Listen, this week fucking sucked for me, so I'm not surprised that was garbage.
Yeah, I'm sure mine will be no better. Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
A knight. Knight. Swords. Ah, no. The sun.
You did that fast.
I'm just going with what I feel.
I mean, the knights are the fire of the court cards.
They are the fire that...
I mean,
No,
that's
it's wrong.
debatable. Some people say the kings are the... You know what? It's fine.
It's fine.
That's just my opinion. But
Well, that's where I am, so we tried.
we did good. Honestly, I would like... I'm cool with the intuition tests. I would like to actually answer some people's questions at the end. And I would love to have those people then let us know how that went.
So then, please, ask us questions.
I think that would be a lot more fun as a test. So, like, ask us questions. Nothing intense, please.
Yeah.
Please. Keep it light. But I would love to see what we can get from our listeners or our viewers and do that as some little fun practice tests at the end. You guys submit and maybe you'll get a free semi-accurate reading.
But not accurate at all.
Maybe. I mean, hey, I would like to do like a what do we get raw and then what do we get with cards.
Sure. I mean, we're training, so this is
Yeah.
the whole point. The whole point is we're going to get it wrong
Yeah.
until we get it right.
And that's why I would love somebody who's not either of us. I'm not great at these card things. I am much better at engaging with people's energy.
Mm.
And I think it'd be also interesting, potentially have people get some free readings out of it. And we can test one, the like raw psychic ability of it, and then check ourselves with the cards and then see if even that was correct. So, leave us a comment. Leave us your thoughts. Podcast is posted every single week on any podcast listening place of your choice. It's called I'm Psychic, I guess. No shit, you're listening to it. And you can also find us and updates about this podcast and clips from this podcast anywhere online at I'm Psychic, I guess. We post daily TikToks and daily reels of our explorations and experiences.
So go check them out.
Check those out.
You can follow our personal stuff at The Doodles.
At the DOOTLEZ.
That's at the DOOTLEZ.
That's our personal Twitter, our personal Instagram. It's not very exciting. I'm not going to lie to you. All of our time is going into this.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.